Today marks a little over 2 months that I moved to New York City, but 10 years ago I had New York City on my mind. Today, September 11th, is when the World Trade Center collapsed. I was in my mother's bedroom watching it all unfold on the Today Show. Now that I'm in New York, let's ask New Yorkers how it felt like being here on that day, what were they doing, and how they remember September 11th. What's your name, sir?
Danny.
What's your name, ma'am?
My name is Georgina Rivera.
What's your name, buddy?
My name is Tristan Contis.
Michael.
Michael, nice to meet you, Michael. What does September 11th mean to you as a New Yorker now?
For me, we should never forget this day. We should pass on to the next generation, but we have to forgive them.
Can you go through that day for me?
It was waking up in a nightmare. Not out of a nightmare, but waking up into a nightmare.
Where were you on 9/11? Nice to meet you.
Well, I was in my 6th grade math class, and we had an evacuation. The fire alarm went off. The teachers pulled everybody outside and said there had been a travesty. As I grew older, I really started to understand the importance of the event and how that places the United States in the geopolitical sphere right now for foreign policy.
What does 9/11 mean to you? Now, you're a New York City resident, right?
Yes.
But you knew somebody personal at 9/11?
Yes, my childhood friend, Celeste Torres.
Celeste was also a reporter, director, and independent producer. She promoted a series of cable talk shows in Manhattan Neighborhood Network where she campaigned on behalf of the disadvantaged in New York City. Her incredible strength, vibrant energy, and passion for life will be cherished and missed by all.
She did a lot with her life, but she helped a lot of people. A lot of people.
Is there any personal stories that you can give of people that you've heard who have lost somebody, or maybe that you don't know where your parents were at that time if they worked in Manhattan?
Well, my uncle was supposed to go in early that day. And he was tired from jet lag, and by the grace of God, he overslept, I believe. And he would have had to go into work early, and he would have been in the top floors and stuff like that. So he didn't go, but it was a miracle. He didn't go in, so we decided not to go in. And then he went downstairs, he turned on the news, and the tower was up. So he called my mom, and he was like all hysterical and stuff like that. He did lose a lot of friends though, but he's okay.
After you moved here, could you still feel the effects of September 11th?
Oh yeah, it created a different state of mind among Americans, especially Americans. Well, not only Americans, but it changes the way we treat each other. It changes the way we perceive other religions. And there are a lot of changes everywhere in immigration policy alone. Well, it seems that America is no longer a welcoming country because of that. Now, I'm now working with the immigration firm, and I know, compared to the law before 9/11 now, it seems it makes hard for intending immigrant to come here in the United States.
Do you feel like now that you understand everything has changed in regards to immigrant relations, in regards to geopolitical everything?
Right. It's 9/11 has caused a paradigm shift into the 21st century, and that shift will only continue to get deeper. And the ramifications are seen. I mean, I've never seen so many police in New York City before.
How do you feel like being a New Yorker in 9/11?
Well, it leads me to believe that anybody's vulnerable, and nobody's invincible, and don't take life for granted.
Do you feel like you yourself live in fear, or do you feel like most of the people in New York City live in fear?
I don't live in fear. I pray to God every day, almost every day. I'm so thankful to be a human being on this earth. I'm completely blessed. I don't live in fear. My greatest fear is people being in fear, because that leads to hasty decisions. As my mom says, haste makes waste, always.
I'm still in awe of the troops that are still out there putting their lives today on the line. So I just want to say God bless them and thank them, and that I pray for them every day and for their safe return back home, because it takes a lot to give your life for another.
After Ground Zero, I attended the memorial floating lantern ceremony at the Hudson River. Modeled after the traditional Japanese ritual, names and messages are written on the lanterns in remembrance of loved ones who have died. Then, the lanterns are left to drift in a symbolic act of a spiritual journey to peace.